Welcome to Module 2 in the Proofpoint Essentials Accredited Administrator course. In this module, we'll be looking at how to manage domains in Proofpoint Essentials. First, we will be providing an overview of domain management in Proofpoint Essentials. We'll also be looking at how to add domains, testing and editing domains, how to set up your sending server, and enabling hosted services like Office 365 and Google Apps. Finally, we'll look at setting up relaying for Office 365 in Proofpoint Essentials. Initially, your domain is added as part of the customer setup process. From time to time, however, you may need to add a new domain in addition or instead of those added when your customer account was set up. We'll take a look at how to do that here. To add a new domain, click Company Settings in the main menu and then Domains in the submenu. Click New Domain on the Domains page and enter the new domain in the Domain Name field. Set the Domain Purpose field to Relay if the domain is intended for routing emails. Set this field to Management if the domain will not have email routed through the service. We'll choose Relay for the purposes of this example. In the Delivery Destination field, enter the location where emails should be delivered once Proofpoint Essentials has completed filtering them. You can also add the locations of up to 4 backup SMTP servers in the SMTP failover fields if the server set in the Delivery Destination field is not available. Proofpoint Essentials will try each of the backup servers in the order you indicate here. In the Verification Method field, select the option you want to use to verify domain ownership. You have 2 options here. If you intend to verify your domain by updating your domain's DNS record, choose Verify by TXT Record. If you select this method, you'll be provided with information you'll need to use when you add this domain as a DNS record. If you want to verify your domain by adding a meta tag to your website's homepage, select Verify by Meta Tag. If you select this method, you'll be provided with HTML code to copy and paste into the HTML header on your domain's homepage. When you are satisfied with your updates, you can choose whether to verify your domain now or later. Choose Verify Later, and Essentials will save the verification codes it has generated so that you can update your DNS records or domain homepage meta tags. You'll see the domain status has been set to Pending in the Domains page. It's important not to skip this step, or you'll have to start from scratch if verification fails. Once you have made the DNS or meta tag updates, select your domain on the Domains page and click Verify Now. Note that particularly with DNS updates, it can take some time for those changes to be propagated, so you might need to wait a couple of hours before verifying. If verification has been successful, you'll see the domain status set to Verified in the UI. To turn on relaying, toggle the switch on the row dedicated to the domain in the Domains page. It's important to remember that it'll take approximately 30 minutes before mail will flow inbound or outbound for the domain after mail relaying has been turned on. A little later in this module, we'll take a look at adding a domain in more detail when setting up relaying using Office 365. If, subsequently, you need to update a domain, click the pencil icon on the row assigned to your domain in the Domains page. You can update the domain purpose, delivery destination, and SMTP failover information for your domain. To test that Proofpoint Essentials can access the MX records for your domain, establish a Telnet connection on port 25 to the delivery destination you configured, and confirm that the domain is verified. Click the checkmark icon on the row assigned to your domain. You can review the information in the dialog that appears. To include the IP addresses of any servers you use to send outbound mail, click Company Settings in the main menu and then Domains in the submenu. To add a new outbound mail server in the Sending Servers area on the Domains page, click New Sending Server and add the IP address in the field that appears. Click Save when you're done. To remove a sending server, simply click the trash can icon on the row assigned to it on the Domains page. If you use a hosted service, such as Microsoft Office 365 or Google Apps for outbound mail, you can configure Proofpoint Essentials to manage the IP addresses of hosted service sending servers. As these can change on a regular basis, Proofpoint Essentials checks daily for any updates to the list of Office 365 and Google Apps IP addresses to ensure your mail is using the most current sending servers for the service. To set up hosted service sending servers, click Manage Hosted Service instead of New Sending Server and toggle the slider for the relevant service. Click Save when you're done. For a more detailed treatment, we'll explain here how to set up relaying for Office 365 in Proofpoint Essentials. This procedure involves several steps. First, you'll need to set up a connector and a connection filter in Office 365. Then, in the Proofpoint Essentials UI, the next task is to define the outbound sending server and outbound SMTP server for the domain. After that, you'll need to validate the domain's TXT records and add MX records in the DNS. Finally, you'll need to turn on relaying for the domain in the Proofpoint Essentials UI. We'll take a look at how to carry out these tasks in detail. The Proofpoint Essentials Data Center page in the Proofpoint Essentials knowledge base contains important configuration information that you'll need to complete the setup of an account. The URL for the Proofpoint Essentials Data Center page in the knowledge base is given in red on the screen. You'll need to copy and paste information from this page as part of the setup configuration process. It's important to note that you should use only the data center that was assigned to your company. Failure to use the correct data center will result in lost mail due to rejections. Let's take a look at how to configure a connector for the account in Office 365. To do this, first log into the Exchange Admin Center in Office 365. Click Mail Flow in the navigation panel and then Connectors. Click the plus icon on the Mail Flow page to create a new smart host. In the dialog that opens, select Office 365 from the From drop-down list and Partner Organization from the To drop-down list. Then click Next. Enter a name for the new connector in the Name field and ensure that the Turn It On checkbox is selected. Click Next to continue. The next step is to define when the connector will be used. Ensure that the Only When Email Messages Are Sent to These Domains radio button is selected. Click the plus icon and enter an asterisk in the Add Domain field. The asterisk wildcard character here indicates that all mail is to be sent through this connector. Click OK when you're done. Next, we want to ensure the mail is routed through the smart host. Select the Route Email Through These Smart Hosts radio button and click the plus icon. Enter the host name for the data center smart host you've been assigned in the Add Smart Host field. You'll find the host name on the Proofpoint Essentials Getting Started page. Remember that you should use only the data center that was assigned to your company. Failure to use the correct data center will result in lost mail due to rejections. Click Save when you're done and then Next. Ensure that the Always Use Transport Layer Security to Secure the Connection checkbox and Issued by a Trusted Certificate Authority radio button are selected, and then click Next. Review the summary information on the next page, and if it's correct, click Next. To validate the connector, click the plus icon and enter a test email address in the Add Email field, click OK, and then Validate. Check that the validation email has been received for the connector and click Save when you're done. After you have added a connector, the next task is to set up the connection filter. Start by clicking Protection in the navigation menu in the Exchange Admin Center in Office 365 and then Connection Filter. Edit the default connector by clicking the pencil icon. Click Connection Filtering in the dialog that appears and click the plus icon above the IP Allow List text area. Enter each of the IP addresses for your designated data center one at a time. The IP addresses are listed on the Proofpoint Essentials Getting Started page. Click Save when you're done. To set up the outbound sending server in the Proofpoint Essentials UI, click Domains on the Company Settings submenu. Click Manage Hosted Services and toggle the Office 365 option. Click Save to finish. To add the outbound SMTP destination for the domain, click the domain name in the Domain column in the Domains page in the Essentials UI to view the domain settings. In the Delivery Destination field, enter the Office 365 SMTP delivery destination. The usual format for this is yourdomain-com.mail.protection.outlook.com. So, in this example for the bobstoybarn.com domain, the SMTP delivery destination is bobstoybarn-com.mail.protection.outlook.com. Next, select Verify by TXT Record from the Verification Method drop-down list and copy the content of the Value/Answer/Definition column to the clipboard. Click Verify Later when you're done. To verify a domain by adding a TXT record to the DNS, open a new tab or browser window and log into your DNS provider's website. Go to your provider's DNS management page. This may be called DNS Settings, Control Panel, Advanced Settings, or something along those lines. Add a new entry to your DNS. The entry type should be TXT. For the host, enter an @ sign. The @ sign represents a shortcut to the root domain. Keep in mind that the DNS provider may not support the shortcut, and you'll need to add the root domain. If you have a subdomain, enter your subdomain in place of the @ sign. Paste the string from the Value/Answer/Definition field in the Domain Settings page in the Essentials UI into the Domain Management page. Set the time to live to 3,600 seconds or 1 hour. Save your new record. In the Proofpoint Essentials Domain Settings page, click Verify Now. To add an MX record for the domain, log into your domain provider's DNS management page. You'll need to add a record for each of Proofpoint Essentials MX records. To add an MX record, the entry type should be MX. For the host, enter an @ sign. Copy the first Proofpoint Essentials MX record value from the Proofpoint Essentials Data Center page in the Proofpoint Essentials knowledge base and paste it into your provider's DNS management page. Set the priority to 10 and the time to live to 1 hour. Create a second record for the second Proofpoint Essentials MX record value, but this time set the priority to 20. When creating MX records, we recommend setting the priority as low as possible. Save each MX record individually. Once you have created the connector and connection filter, added the outbound sending server and SMTP destination, set up the TXT and MX records in the DNS, you can finally turn on relaying for the domain. To turn on relaying, toggle the switch on the row dedicated to the domain in the Domains page in the Proofpoint Essentials UI. It's important to remember that it will take approximately 30 minutes before mail will flow inbound or outbound for the domain after mail relaying has been turned on. In this module, we looked at managing domains in Proofpoint Essentials. In the next module, we'll take a look at importing users and managing user accounts.